Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Shraddha's Physics. Today we will see the analytic functions and we will discuss about the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So let us see what are the analytic function. A function is said to be analytic at some point z equal to z naught if it is defined and it has the derivative at every point in some neighborhood of z0, then it is called the analytic function. Or and we can say that it is said to be analytic in some domain D if it is analytic at every point in that domain D. Okay. Now let us consider any circle. Suppose this is a circle having its center is z0, and if I will consider this point as z, then this z minus z0 modulus we can write it as this is equal to our radius r. Okay. So if I will say that if my z0 equal to 0, if z0 equal to 0, it means that if we will consider our center of the circle, it lies at the 0 point, then I can write mod z will be equal to r. So this is the radius. So I can say that the neighborhood of this z0, it is taken as the region in this Argand diagram. Argand diagram means in the complex representation where we will represent a complex point or complex number, that plane is known as the Argand diagram. So the neighborhood of z0 taken in the region of that Argand diagram, it contains within some circle, it will be represented by this z minus z0 modulus that will be equal to r. Okay. And also we can say that when the function is not analytic at any point if the function is not defined means that is infinity suppose. So at that point the function is called the singular point or the singularity of the function. When the function is not defined, then at that point the function is singular point, and except that point where the function exists, these points are called the analytic point. Okay. Now let us take an example, that is suppose f of z equal to x minus iy, and we have to prove that whether it is analytic or not, we will check. We will consider that our z equal to x minus iy, it is given. So this is z equal to x minus iota into y. Okay. And we know we can write delta z will be equal to delta x minus I delta y. I can write it as minus I delta y. Okay. So if I will differentiate this df divided by df means this is the function of z with respect to the dz, then from this definition of the derivative we can write limit delta z tends to 0 and f of z0 plus delta z minus f of z0 divided by delta z. This is from the definition of the derivative, and we can also write it as this will be limit delta z tends to 0. In this place f of z0 plus delta z we can write this will be x0 for the real part I am writing, for the z0 this z equal s minus iy. So this will be z0 plus delta z means plus delta x, this will be our real part. Again for the imaginary part this will be minus iota y0, and for delta z I am writing this will be plus delta y. Okay. Again for minus f of z0 this will be minus x0, again minus I y0. Okay. This will be I y0. Clear? This total term whole divided by delta z is our delta x plus I delta y. So I am writing delta x plus I delta y. From this expression you can see that this x0 with minus x0 they get cancelled, and this will be minus I y0, this minus minus becomes plus. So this will be I y0 and this will be minus I y0, they will get cancelled. So the remaining term will be, this will be limit delta z tends to 0 means your delta x tends to 0 as well as delta y tends to 0. So, I am writing delta x tends to 0 and delta y tends to 0 and this will be delta x, the remaining term I am writing minus I delta y divided by delta x plus I delta y, okay, I delta y. Now, you can see that for first case we have to put delta x equal to 0. So, that what we will get? When delta x equal to 0 exactly, for that case when delta x equal to 0, then we can write for delta x equal to 0 and delta y tends to 0, for that case this df by dz, this will be equal to, you can see here delta x minus I delta y. So, in place I am writing first delta x equal to 0. So, it means that minus I delta y divided by I delta y. So, this will be minus I delta y divided by I delta y, okay, where delta y tends to 0. Here I am writing limit delta y tends to 0 because we have already put delta x equal to 0. So, I get cancelled, delta y get cancelled. So, the remaining term will be equal to minus 1. This is our first condition. And in the second condition I am putting delta y equal to 0 and delta x tends to 0, and for that case if I will calculate this df by dz, then this will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0. Similarly, you can see in this part if I will put delta x tends to 0, so delta y equal to 0, exactly equal to 0. So, this will be limit delta y x tends to 0, delta x by delta x. So, I am writing this will be delta x divided by delta x, that will be equal to 1. Now, if we will compare, you can see here if I will compare, the first term is minus 1 and this first value is minus 1 and the second value is 1, which is not equal, or we can say that the function is not differentiable. So, since these two values are distinct and different, so the function is not analytic, clear? Since the function is not differentiable, or we can say that the two values are distinct in nature and these are different, so the function is not analytic. So, here I am writing function is not analytic, clear? The function is not analytic, clear? Now, we will see the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So, this is in the Cartesian form or in the rectangular coordinate system, or you can say that in any Aragon diagram, if I will define the function, that is the analytic function, suppose z equal to x plus iy, okay. So, we can write f of z will be equal to, we can write this w equal to f of z, or that is equal to w equal to f of z, that is equal to u of xy plus iota v of xy. Now, we can see that this u of xy is nothing but the real part of f of z and this v of xy is nothing but the imaginary part of the f of z. Now, we can differentiate this function and can write dw by dz, that will be equal to, this will be f prime of z, we can write this as f prime of z, which is also equal to limit delta z tends to 0, this is delta z tends to 0 and this will be f of z plus delta z, this is z plus delta z minus f of z divided by delta z, okay. This is the definition of the derivative, and this will be equal to, again this will be limit delta z tends to 0, this is limit delta z tends to 0, we can write it as u of x plus delta x and y plus delta y. So, in place of z plus delta z, I am writing x plus delta x comma y plus delta y and plus iota function of v function of x plus delta x and y plus delta y, okay. And this minus of f of z means minus u minus iv, okay. and whole divided by delta z means delta x plus I delta y. Okay. Now you can see that if I will separate this real part and the imaginary part, we can write this as, this will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0 and delta y tends to 0. Similarly, this will be u of x plus delta x comma y plus delta y. This will be y plus delta y minus u of x y. This is the real part divided by this total term, that is delta x plus I delta y. So, this is delta x plus I delta y, and the imaginary part will be plus iota the function v, that is x plus delta x, y plus delta y, again minus the function v. It means this v is nothing but x comma y function divided by total term, that is delta x plus I delta y. Okay. This is the whole bracket. Clear? Now the two cases will arise. Now you can see in this Argand diagram, suppose I am writing this as my real x axis and this is my suppose imaginary y axis. Okay, this is my imaginary y axis. So this pink color axis, pink color ray, you can see that for this point here, if I will consider this point and this point, here the change in position, that is the change in delta x, if I will consider this pink line, that is at every point you can see the value of x is remain fixed or this is constant. So that this delta x here will be equal to 0 since x is constant, but y is not exactly 0, but I can consider to be it exactly delta y tends to 0. I can write delta y tends to 0 for this pink line, and similarly for the green line you can see here the value of y is constant because it is parallel to the x axis. Since this y is constant, we can write delta y equal to 0. Okay, or we can write delta x tends to 0. We can write, since delta y equal to 0, here delta x is tends to 0. So there will be the two cases. First is for delta x equal to 0, delta y tends to 0, and in the second case we will see when delta y equal to 0, delta x tends to 0. Let us see the first case, that is delta x equal to 0 and delta y tends to 0, delta y tends to 0. So we can write here this dw by dz, that will be equal to, this is equal to f prime of z, or we can write simply this will be limit delta y tends to 0. Here in place of delta x simply we have to put 0, so that this will be u of x comma y plus delta y minus u of x y divided by I delta y, because delta x is 0, and plus here is the iota. Similarly, this will be v x comma y plus delta y minus v x y divided by, this will be delta x tends to 0, so this will be simply I delta y. Okay. So here I and this term is also I, so this I get cancelled. So from the first term you can see that here the variation of u, that is u of x comma y plus delta y minus u of x y divided by I delta y. So you can see that here the variation of u with respect to y. So simply from the definition of the derivative we can write this will be some dou u by, I am writing dou u by dou y, but here the presence of iota here. So if I will multiply I in the numerator and denominator, I can write it this as minus I. Okay. So in the second term similarly you can see that there will be the variation of the v. So, we can write from the definition of the derivative, this will be plus dou v divided by dou y. Okay. So, this is the first case. Now, for the case 2, if I will put here, I have to put delta y equal to 0 and delta x tends to 0. So, this term will becomes, this term will be, I am writing here the dw by dz, this will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0. So, this will be limit delta x tends to 0. The first term will be similarly, we are putting, since delta y equal to 0, this will be u of x plus delta x comma y minus u of xy, similarly divided by delta x because delta y is already 0, and then plus iota, this term is v of x plus delta x comma y minus v of xy, and divided by the term will be delta x, this is the whole bracket. From this term we are just calculating this, okay. We are just substituted delta y equal to 0. So, from this relation you can see that this total, this first term is nothing but the change of u, this is the change of u with respect to the delta x, okay. So, the first term, for the first term we can write this is nothing but dou u by dou x, this is dou u by dou x, dou u by dou x, and for the second term this will be the change of v. So, this will be plus iota dou v by dou x with respect to the x it is changing. So, suppose this is your equation 1 and this is suppose equation 2. These are the derivative of dw by dz. So, if I will compare these two terms, that is if I will compare the real part with the real and the imaginary part with the imaginary, then what we will get, you can see this dou u by dou x will be equal to dou v by dou y. So, I am writing dou u by dou x equal to dou v by dou y, dou u by dou x equal to dou v, this is v, by dou y, and similarly if you will compare the imaginary part, then we will see, you can see this iota dou v by dou x will be equal to minus iota dou u by dou y. So, simply if iota get cancelled, the remaining term will be dou u by dou y equal to minus dou v by dou x, this is v, okay. So, here I am writing dou u by dou y, this will be simply equal to minus dou v by dou x. So, these two relations are called the Cauchy-Riemann equations or the Cauchy-Riemann conditions. This is called as the Cauchy-Riemann equation. This is the Cauchy-Riemann equation for the analytic function, okay. That is dou u by dou x equal to dou v by dou y and dou u by dou y equal to minus dou v by dou x. So, by using these two formula or these two conditions, you can prove whether or you can check whether the function is analytic or not. We will discuss some problem later. So, basically this Cauchy-Riemann equation, it has been derived under some restrictive assumption, that is while we are taking the limit delta z tends to 0. Here in this diagram, that is when delta z tends to 0, we have considered only two specific paths, that is one along the line parallel to the y axis and another along the line parallel to the x axis, that is the real x axis, or you can say that parallel to the imaginary y axis. But this is more general result. This condition, it is necessary, but this is not sufficient. These conditions are not sufficient because we have not considered every possible path, okay. So, basically to solve problems you have to just remember this is the Cauchy-Riemann equation, that is dou u by dou x equal to dou v by dou y and dou u by dou y equal to minus dou v by dou x. So, this is all for today. If you like the video, you can give a like, you can share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.